invitation is made to the head of the legislative body to come present them what they did, so that we're conferring with them, but we will be and stuff, so that's not like a must, it was a suggestion.
Okay. So, at another meeting?
I just don't want certain councilmen for saying we didn't go by the rules and regulations.
Is that what we said?
I didn't hear you.
Follow the rules.
We just want to make, because, all right.
Well,
Can we?
I don't want to disagree with anything that was said, but I will say that under 7191C, it does say that if the appointing authority, which is the city council, makes recommendations for changes in the draft report to the commission shall confer with the appointing authority concerning such recommendation. So at some point during this process, you need to invite the city council leadership, certainly, and it should be open to anybody on the council if they want to come and talk to you. You have to offer them the opportunity to confer, and ideally you should actually confer. So, not tonight, but the subsequent night, you want to make sure that invitation goes up.
That was the intent.
Well, they can come next week then.
So,
All right. It is 6:16. I'd like to call this meeting to order on August 11th, 2025. Can you please take roll call?
Commissioner Gordet,
here.
John Hogan here. Commissioner Gonzalez. Commissioner Marshall Lee. Commissioner Sweeney.
Here.
Commissioner Abdullah. Commissioner Williams. Commissioner Martin.
I'm here.
Commissioner Nims. Commissioner McKnight. Commissioner Larchmont.
Here.
Commissioner Egan.
Present.
Commissioner McKenzie. Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
Wonderful. Okay. First on our agenda was to have the presentation, but we will invite them for next week. Item number 2 is to review and finalize recommendations for chapters 1, 3, and 4, as well as any topics that might come up from any of the commission members. I would like to be transparent. The mayor did reach out to John Hozier to talk about some of the changes that were made. While he was invited and not able to attend at one of our meetings, he does want to meet to discuss his recommendations. Did you want to speak further to that, John?
I think we're going to try to set something up for a meeting on Wednesday, just before our meeting, just to see what he has to say.
Any questions, comments, or concerns?
It's out of respect to the mayor's office.
The particular topics that he was addressing.
Particularly the section for the mayor's office. For chapter 3. Is it 3? Yeah.
Yes.
Well, actually,
No,
No,
chapter 4,
Chapter 4.
the mayor's section. But I think you had mentioned that he had other.
He had other questions
Suggestions
about
as
it,
well.
yeah. Just out of respect.
Okay, so we'll probably meet with him before our meeting on Wednesday to see what his insights are, okay?
I can't say, ask a question.
We're getting to that. So, so we're meeting with him on Wednesday. These meetings that we have scheduled are really a time for the commission to really review each section, and really come with our final decisions on the changes that have been made. City council, the draft that you have, which I would like to put as Exhibit 1, is this is the city council draft approved August 4th, and this is edits authorized by the city council resolution. So this is going to be Exhibit 1. Yeah?
Can I get some background on that?
Yes.
Okay.
Please, thank you.
So this document is a comparison of the changes that were sent directly to the council and then the changes that they made. So any changes previously made by the commission before it went to council were already accepted in the document, and they only show up in red if the council changed some portion of it. So this should just be council changes. And then on the front, there's a list of words that were capitalized throughout the document, so you'll see a bunch of that, and that is pretty much the additional edits that were made by the city attorney after the council resolution. There's also a change to, I believe, Chapter 9, Section 15, for the Board of Public Purposes, the very last paragraph in that section. There's a change there, but otherwise, these are all of the council changes. You'll need to take a look at your document to see your changes, because I didn't bring those with me.
Thank you. So the way that we would like to run this meeting, or these upcoming meetings, is to really go through each of these chapters. That's why there's 3 per meeting, for us to really take some time to do that. We will take questions from anyone not on the council. We will take questions from anyone that is not on the, who's not on the commission. However, we are going to try to keep it to a minimum as far as discussion. I feel like in our first round, we gave the council a lot of time to share their thoughts, their recommendations, and ask questions and concerns. So I would like this time to focus on our commission members, but we do welcome questions from the city council. So, Chapter 1. I don't know if you all can access this on your phone. I just sent you something for Chapter 1. It was something that during the city council's time, as far as the vision mission statement, in one of my discussions with John Marshall Lee, we talked about how there really isn't an introduction to the charter. It goes straight into provisions, or general provisions. So we thought about having something. At first we thought about the anti-discrimination clause, but you recommended a different place for it, and I think that is the perfect place for it, which we'll talk about later. However, when I looked at the preamble that was suggested, and then did some research on other towns like Hamden and Danbury. I thought I had Waterbury. I guess I didn't screenshot it. But I sent you a screenshot of Danbury and Danbury and Hamden's preamble, and then a vision mission statement with some guiding principles as well. This is something that I would like you to look at, make a comment. Is this something that we want to consider to put in before the charter? When I looked at every other charter in the state, most of them had preambles. The preamble that I saw that was recommended, let me see. If you are looking at the Exhibit 1 today's, where the city council changes, city attorney changes, if you go to the preamble, I recognize that this preamble is pretty similar to, there's like a national I had it written down. It was this one, this is very similar to the National Civic League's preamble. Oh, at least a lot of the language in there is. And then if you look at the samples that I sent you online from Hampton and Danbury, they have personalized it a little bit. So it's open for discussion. Do we want to consider, oh, and also for the preamble, I think it should not be in chapter 1. I think it should be its own thing. So out of chapter 1, but at the beginning, which most other cities have that. Yes.
Where did this one come from?
I can't recall.
I like it because it sounds like the US Constitution, but it's
It
a
was
little
a-
more like, you know, we're a separate
It is-
state. I actually like it.
It was a Mednick situation. He'd given me a bunch of them. I can't remember which municipality actually. I thought it was Hampton actually, but it is.
No, it's from the National Civic League. If you look there, a lot of that language comes from that.
That's a great idea.
Not that I'm on the commission, but the one that they should put in here is succinct and to the point and is appropriate, in my opinion, for laying out why you're doing the charter. When I look at Hamden, and to a lesser degree, Danbury's, there's a lot of irrelevant political or other statements which really have nothing to do with adopting a charter. But, you know, you obviously can do whatever you want.
I just sent the link.
I agree with that sentiment, by the way. I feel like this is more legal and appropriate for a charter document.
Versus what's in like Hampton's and Danbury's.
I agree with Mark's criticism. It's a little, yeah, it's almost like a little political. It's like what they aspire to, but almost like,
They might
it's almost like a
be
mission
little bit-
statement
yes,
for an
that's-
administration. You know, like the new mayor comes in, they say, this is what we're about as an administration. It's less about, you know, the charter sounds more like what's here. I don't know how to say it, but there's something about it that makes this very. I also like your suggestion, by the way, of preamble before chapter 1.
So it's separate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it should be separate, yeah. John?
I looked at what was here when we got here a few months ago, and it just didn't fly for me. The 15 of us, or the 13 of us who have moved around here, had a priority reason of getting this to be simpler, easier to read, hit some major points, deal with ethics in a big way, and I hope that when we welcome the citizens to read it, to understand that it's structured and it's open for them. So I have gone about, and I don't know whether it was sent around or not, but I've got 10 copies tonight. I don't think we need to decide tonight, but if anybody would like to contribute to it, I would be happy to work with whatever to do it. On this sheet of paper is also for the city council a mission purpose statement, because they don't have one. So I put that in here too. Whether that got included or not, I don't know. But I'll just pass it around this way.
Okay, so we will mark this as exhibit 2.
Through the chair, if I could just make one comment.
Yep.
A charter is a source of authority in law. It's not the place to be making mission statements and purposes. It's the equivalent of the Constitution on a local level. It's parallel to the Connecticut Constitution and the statutes. Mission statements, it's not a statement of vision or goals, it's law. And once you start putting other stuff in there, then there's some complication as to whether somehow a mission statement or a vision statement or a statement of ideals or purposes becomes law, and it's not. So it's not the proper place for it, in my opinion. But again, a short preamble is one thing, but trying to define what the mission of the city council is,
No, that was I'm sorry to interrupt you.
okay, maybe I'm
There were two statements on that piece of paper, okay? I happened to put them together so that I'd have them here at one time.
okay. So
There is no mission statement for the council itself. That's a separate item, which I never got a chance to introduce before.
Okay.
Thank you.
I don't mean to be,
No,
and I thank you for the correction.
pardon me,
Where is this for, where would it go?
right in front of
The council section.
yeah, it goes right in front of the council section.
If I could,
I
to
think-
John's point about simplify, one of our goals is to simplify. And one of the things that we had talked about way early on was to be sure that each chapter and section was titled, and we still have big gaps.
Yeah.
Also that they be numbered, which is, within the table of contents, that these areas be numbered for the simplicity of finding the reference you're looking for. So I just wanted to
Yes.
remind us of that.
I
and see
do.
if that's still on the table.
And thank you, Susan, for going back to that, because you reminded me to go back to the ordinance. The ordinance that they had on August 4th, the resolution, sorry. And they have a lot for us to do in 30 days. One of them was if you go down to the second to last, be it further resolved that. So I had a question, could,
Commissioners, do you all have the resolution that was presented to us from the council?
I sent it in an email.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So for that one, I was wondering, so this is, recommends that the Charter Commission do a thorough review of all chapters of the charter to correct language, grammar, and syntax to ensure proper punctuation, capitalization, and to remove typos and other types of errors and gender and all that stuff. So that I was wondering, is that something that we need to do physically, or can, like, the legislative office do it?
I did some of it already.
Yes, you have done some of it, but
So it's already gender neutral, that was done, the capitalizations have already been done. I think punctuation is just gonna be one of those things that you find as you go through it and you're reading it. And then there are references to other sections of the charter that now are different because we've renumbered it. So I have an intern going through that now, to make sure that the references line up to where it's supposed to be. So some of that's already being worked on.
okay, perfect. Then the other, if we go to the, further, D, it be further resolved after D. It talks about recommendations, so continues to review and update chapter 17 regarding civil service so as it to be consistent with other proposed changes. Is that something that you two can do?
That's a numbering thing, and I think we were gonna talk to John Matola and Eric Amato, get their opinion on renumbering. I mean, they have a really weird section that starts with 203, right? I don't understand what that's about, maybe it's an area code thing, but anyways. It starts with 203, I can't figure it out. But because people are so familiar with it, we're really not sure that it's appropriate to change it, because then they'd have to change a bunch of other documents because there are civil service rules that probably make references to the charter. So before we make a big mess, I think we need to chat with the folks that work in that area.
Okay. Do you suggest we email them with this?
You want to take that
Are you
on?
talking about civil service or? Yeah, I mean, we can talk to them offline on the side. John Tola works in her office, so we can just ask them on the side. And we'll make them do the work and just resubmit it to us, so we don't have to fuss with it.
And then for chapters 21 and 22, the sunset clause or removing unnecessary.
So that, yeah, I mean, that's gonna, the interesting thing is I feel like in the beginning, a lot of our work and fussing over language is gonna be in the earlier chapters. And then we'll fuss less maybe with all the chapters we haven't touched yet, but there might be a global approach. Aside from, I love Sue's idea of putting in, what do you call it, subheadings and stuff, so we can find stuff. But that aside, we're looking, when we get there, we can talk about it, but the sunset provision that the council is looking for to basically say, these sections of the charter remain until the council replaces it with an appropriate ordinance. So we'll get there, but that might deal with like a good chunk of the charter, the second half of the charter.
So could she present why and like why, well, so, okay, so you want to sunset things that are going to be removed out of the charter and then put into ordinance.
Yes.
Can we have like a list of what those are?
Yes, oh yeah, we'll have to, yeah, I think that still needs to be worked out on the next couple of weeks when we get there.
Before we get that first. I don't want to see something given to us at the last minute.
Well, in the resolution, it names the chapters that would be affected, which is basically the department chapters. It's every
Yeah, 22.
department of the city.
Okay. And then.
And I just wanted to say on the subject verb, on the gender neutrality, the good news is there was just probably a control find he's and she's are now theys. The problem is, I don't think there was any check for subject verb agreement. And so now that needs to be fixed as well throughout, so.
Okay. So
It's funny. Everything's plural and still.
And now it's.
I did
So
find-
he did fix
I
it.
did find one. I found one in.
Yeah, when you switch to they,
Yeah.
even though they
No, we
refer
got-
to a single individual, you're still.
We
supposed to
still have a heating.
Oh, did you find it?
We got a heating.
Okay. All right, so we kind of went through all of this. This was the resolution. So thank you for the questions on that and the answers on that. Okay.
So, right, I know exactly where you're going with the subheading, so I'm lost.
Well, I mean, if you just look at chapter,
Public facilities, Department of Finance, a lot of
yeah,
them
chapter
don't.
9 starts at where you have section 1 is blank, section 2 is blank, section 3 is tax collector. Section 4 is tax assessor. So what's in section 1 and section 2? Just a heading, so that at a glance you can find what you're looking for.
So if you look at our schedule for these, necessary days, you'll see that we are reviewing and finalizing the charter. So maybe we could do a little bit with each meeting then, to put headings in?
Do you all need to do that, or is it something that I can just handle? I feel like that's a waste of time for
Thank
you all to go.
Yeah,
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, let's skip that.
All right, thank you for bringing that up, and thank you for taking that up.
And just like the first page noted of the section, it doesn't have to be, 9 and 12.
Okay.
And I'm sure there's some way to do it so that it changes
Manually.
as the pages change. I don't know how to do that, but
Yeah,
there's got to be a way.
All right, so thank you for the input on the preamble and everything. Are we fine with what is here for the preamble? Hmm? And sorry. Well, also I want the preamble out of chapter 1, I want its own section. So it's similar to what we see in other cities. So then this, the preamble isn't even a section, so that's good. Oh, Well, yeah.
So are you saying that you want to take the setup for chapter 1 general provisions and drop it below the preamble and right under it have section 1 definition?
Well, yes, but I would like to change that too.
Okay?
So, but we'll start with just, are we in, do we,
Sorry.
so do you want to make the
I'd
motion?
like to make a motion that we accept the preamble that we have here in front of us. And it have its own page as being in the chart. The second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, so it's moving, and we've accepted that. Thank you for finding that. We're good. All right, so maybe not. So the definitions, so this, the bona fide elector was removed?
It's in there, it's just alphabetized, so it's where it's appropriately placed. So the definitions are just a list of definitions. I also received this from Mednick. And to the extent that the word exists or is defined somewhere else in the charter, it's referenced. If not, it's intentionally omitted, and I guess I need to determine whether or not we want it defined. And then we can just define it. The numbers will be off a bit, just because the graphs keep changing. He probably should have referenced the section and not the page, but it's somewhere in the vicinity of the page listed.
So like for section F, the definition, you're saying the definition is on page 75?
Yeah, it's found on page 75. See what it says. That's a weird place for charter to show up for the first time.
Well,
70 pages.
really? Well, isn't the preamble gonna have the word charter in it? So maybe,
I mean, it's not even a matter of
oh, you mean the
where-
definition?
Yeah, it needs to be like a definite, where is it defined? Yeah, let's see where you got this from. I need to word search it.
So if we go, so, no, we need to, we're looking in, just so everyone's clear, we are in the exhibit one today.
What page?
Right here.
8,
So see that down
and it, I can't find it on 79. So it needs to be a word search.
there. And we're putting all definitions in this beginning?
Well, I guess that's what we have to decide, what you want to define, what's necessary to define.
Well, if I may, this is everything except the definitions that are included in chapter 17.
There's some chapter 17 stuff here too. So classified services here, and then there's non-competitive, competitive. So there's certain things in
So, I
here.
mean, and this was my debate with John and Eric, and I wasn't satisfied with their answer. Their answer was, you know, most of the terms they have in their definitions only apply to their chapter. But when I complained that stuff about competitive, non-competitive service are throughout the charter, they said maybe define it twice. I don't like that answer.
I'm gonna define it twice.
Yeah, I don't understand that. But I understand that
Well,
most of
unless
the.
it's different. I mean, is it a different definition than what they're using? I don't think we have to define it twice. Maybe reference where it's located. Or if there's some distinction to be made, maybe make it in the definition. Like as used in chapter 17, section 203, this shall mean.
I guess what's the downside of moving the definitions that are at the back of chapter 17 to the definition section here? For the most part, it's just more difficult to find the definition that's not in their specific section. Trying to think why.
Is it possible to also have the definitions at the end?
Yeah, that's what I.
Okay, so I see there.
Yeah, so it doesn't clunk up the
Yeah.
beginning of the charter.
Just-
Yeah,
just-
right.
just-
It takes, 10 pages of the first, document. Right?
Yeah,
I
it's
agree.
almost like an index.
I do like that, So where it says found on page 18, or found on, partially found on 84, throughout the charter, could we, well, I would like the definitions at the end, one, but could we, within the charter, say, see page whatever? Or is that too much?
That's a lot, 'cause in some cases, you're gonna see that reference a bunch of times.
Yeah, I put it in many places.
Okay.
But I like your idea, it certainly deals with your, some of the words, like the word charter starts in the preamble before you even get the definition, so the stick in the back, solve that problem. But yeah, I like that suggestion.
Yeah, so definition, I would entertain a motion to move the definitions to,
I'll make a motion to, maybe move these definitions and the definitions of civil service, incorporate them together in alphabetical order at the back. I mean, this is a preliminary matter though, because this section needs cleaning up anyway, so.
yeah,
Commissioner,
any thoughts about?
just moving this all to the back. Yeah, I think it's confusing if you start out with a whole bunch of definitions in the beginning of the charter. Yeah.
So move definitions to back and include civil service?
To your point about moving it to back, the definitions in the civil service section are at the back of the chapter.
That,
So-
yeah, although it's on the chapter 17. Wait, no, is it still 17? Yes. Okay.
So basically, where would this go? At the absolute last couple of pages of the charter itself? Can you call it an index or something?
What if it's
Maybe
in
just chapter
bold,
24
maybe
definitions.
glossary?
Chapter 24 definitions.
Chapter 24.
I don't know, I'm asking.
If that works.
I mean, the last thing probably before or after transition material, so I don't know.
Oh, when you read a book, it's
The
like all
transition,
those,
actually,
all that
transition
transition
chapter
stuff.
will-
Yeah,
will be
that's
before.
the other
So
thing.
maybe it's after that, maybe it is the last thing.
Okay.
So the final
Yeah, after
answers,
that.
chapter 24, all definitions at the end?
I don't think so.
Commissioner?
Somebody said, I don't think so, or I
Yeah,
wouldn't think
what
so.
Mr. Barnett said, I don't think so.
Wait, how do you get to 24? Only
Well,
allowed
what's our last chapter?
Chapter 23 is transitional
So
provisions.
that would be.
Oh, I thought 22 is transitional.
22 is pension.
Oh.
Everything moved back a number.
Page 7 of 91 shows us chapter 23. transitional.
And then we just,
So let's go over that motion again.
I think it makes sense. if we do it. Mr. Barnett?
So are you asking for?
I'm looking
Yeah.
for a motion.
I am happy to entertain, move to have definitions all put at the end of the charter,
As in chapter
And
24.
including the
Civil
civil service.
Okay.
Having been redefined alphabetically and all that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 3.
And
Okay.
Sue volunteers to check out the order.
I am grammar,
I know.
and not alphabetizing, so you might want to put that on somebody else.
So that would be considered chapter 24, correct?
Yeah, this is going to be chapter 24 now for definitions. How many pages is this?
All right,
Okay,
we'll go on here.
and then it goes into general. Okay, and so also, with this document, anything that's in black could also be the changes that we have recommended. So, when you look at the let's just take a moment to look at sections 2, 3, 4, that's page 12 of Exhibit 1, today's Exhibit 1.
I'm sorry, where are you?
Page 12 in Exhibit, the document you shared with us today.
So you were mentioning that the attorney wanted to look at this. Is it acceptable, what we have here in front of us, the incorporation of the city? I'm going to ask chapter 1.
Did I say that? About, I'm sorry, about the
In the
incorporation.
beginning.
Oh, I think I had just said that we were waiting on advice on the definitions. I don't think anyone had any commentary on these general provisions. You know,
And the only thing I see here are just capitalizations in that section. Oh, we do have something that we wanted to mention.
Yeah, when we talk about,
Requisites of notice of publication.
What page?
Page, so the
12.
title is on 12, but the body is on 13. So one of the things that we wanted to, so right now it just says, so page 13, at the top of page 13 in Exhibit 1, all notices required by this charter or by any ordinance to be made by publication may be published in any daily or weekly newspaper printed in English, in the English language and having circulation. So we were wondering if we can add in electronic
social media.
and social media in that, or no?
Well, it's available electronically now. So the municipal code is online. It starts with the charter first. So it's available electronically.
So should we add that? Because we only talked about the newspaper.
well, actually, to that point, I'm shocked this even made it, and I forgot about this, because we should.
Well, it has to get published in the paper pursuant to the statute. So
Yes.
your final
It
has
still
to be
has to do
published
that.
in the paper, yes.
Yeah.
That hasn't changed. It's in the general statute.
You can only have board meetings.
We're not trying to take that away. We
Yeah, no, you
wanna
just want to add
add.
electronic,
Oh,
sure.
no, wait a minute, hold on. You were confusing me. Not the publication of the new charter provision changes. This is any time the charter says you need to publish something, you have to do it by publishing it in the newspaper, 5,000 copies. And that is old school. That should
State
go.
law requires it.
In many instances,
I think it does. Now they were gonna change it.
like if you look at zoning requires that it's published in the paper. So we could be getting ourselves in trouble if we take that out, because there are certain general statutes that still require publication in the paper.
Like, in other words, when we have to publish ordinance change, I thought we had said that you don't have to put it in the newspaper. Well, only in the charter is required, but otherwise, it wasn't otherwise required.
Yeah, it wasn't, that would make sense, but there are certain things that are not controlled by just the charter or an ordinance. They could be parallel to the state statute that have similar requirements. So I don't know that we want to, I'm just nervous about changing that, because I don't want to change something that we're not supposed to, right? And then have a conflict with the state statute.
Under the right to refund liabilities.
Can I just ask, totally
Maybe
aside,
we'll just, I'll search.
1 second, yes.
I'm just wondering if it's possible to get the version that we were handed in paper tonight in 91 pages. Is that available to us electronically?
Yes.
Because I can't. Oh, it's online?
Yeah, it's in the email.
I sent you it.
That I have that, pull it up.
The other day? Or
No, just today.
Oh, no, this,
No.
so, no, let me send you that one. The other one is what's online.
Yes,
The one I
that one
have is 87
87
pages.
pages. This one is 91.
Okay, let me just, because I just
That
got
would be
it.
amazing.
The other one's pre-definitions, that's why, the definitions
Oh,
added extra.
oh, okay. So hold on one second, let
That's
me
what I really.
send this.
Steve, you're talking where it says town, it's under rights liabilities.
In other words, like, I would prefer a provision that said, unless otherwise
Required by
right,
state
required by statute, publication shall mean blank, and it's something like published on the agency's website, which is the modern day way. I don't even know, I don't think the Connecticut Post has a circulation of 5,000 anymore. Seriously, I don't even think this is.
Electronic.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that.
And I think that was, Nick said that that is the trend in all the towns that are changing theirs. A lot of towns are very onerous, like newspaper, old school publication requirements, that we should fill that, so.
Something,
Mark, it says
Okay,
in
wait,
general
no.
statutes that it has to be newspaper.
see what you have.
There were
here.
certain, I'm sorry, did
So when I'm looking at it here, it doesn't bring up to what page it says.
Okay, so no, I don't have the one that you sent. This is that other copy. No, I don't have the current one on mine.
Here, I'll send that to
If you
you.
want to look at statute 1-2, which I think everybody has. It's not that long. If you want me to read it, I'll read it. But it says each provision of the general statutes, the special acts, or the charter of any town, city or borough, which requires the insertion of an advertisement of a legal notice in a daily newspaper, shall be construed to permit such advertisement to be inserted in a weekly newspaper. But this section shall not be construed to reduce or otherwise affect the time required by law for giving such notice. Then it goes on to say, whenever notice of any action or other proceeding is required to be given by publication in a newspaper, either by statute or court order, the newspaper selected for that purpose, unless otherwise expressly prescribed, shall be one having a substantial circulation in the town in which at least one of the parties for whose benefit such notice is given resides. So he uses the term substantial circulation. Doesn't say 5,000 in circulation, it says substantial.
Well, in here again, like the first reference, each provision, the special acts or the charter of any town, city, or borough, which requires the insertion of an advertisement in the
Right.
daily newspaper. We are doing the requiring. If
Well,
we
there's
don't
some,
require.
there's some like land use that statutes do mandate. There's a whole list of them, including the sale of city property in addition to land use. But you're right, the charter is a broader application. And
I mean, it literally, and it mentions anytime the city council adopts an ordinance which requires some kind of notice, now you need to follow the charter provision that says you need to publish in the newspaper.
That'd be kind.
5,000, which makes no sense.
I would have to look at 7148 to see if there's a legal requirement for ordinances. The reason why it makes sense to have a publication for ordinances is because ordinances are local laws that have general application, and they have penalties that are attached to them. Not the least of which is if it's silent, it's $100 a day. But if the public doesn't get notice, it's hard to hold them to it. So there may be something in the 7148 that specifically requires ordinances to be published as well. So maybe we can weaken the language and just go with if it's required by statute. So this is another one I guess we're gonna have to play with some language.
We're gonna go back to it.
I think just start the sentence with unless otherwise required by the general statutes. Right, all notices, and then take out the part relative to publication in a newspaper.
Yeah, that would pick up in
I
the
guess-
statute, right?
What, I mean, if it is state statute, and it's saying that in the state statute, and then it, you know, I don't know.
Just add to, can we just add to this that social media, electronic social media should be included? Just add that.
I can add that, that's not a problem.
But
I guess
just to be
what's,
safe, just to be safe, keep the newspaper issue in the charter, it's not gonna hurt it one way or another.
but there are certain, I guess Tom's point is that there are certain instances in which we are requiring publication in the paper that's not necessarily necessary, right? Like there's, we may not have to do that if the state statute doesn't require it. We're creating an extra.
So are
hurdle.
you saying that where it says all notices, are you going to look into what is actually required by that? And then we could just state that there versus,
I don't know,
No.
that's a goal, but that's a big one. And I'm thinking,
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
On page, we're studying on page 13, the top item, top paragraph.
Yes.
Section 7. I wonder, and I have wondered for a while, as I go over to page 21, section 2, in the middle of the page, the annual report of the mayor. Is that published, available to the whole community?
isn't it the state of the city address?
Yeah, we should talk about that when we get to the section on the mayor.
We do want to talk about that.
But that's another, all notices required by this charter. That's the subject matter of that, isn't it? It would seem to me, as I read it.
Yeah, it's a different issue. The annual report of the mayor basically got replaced by the state of the city address, which we can get into.
Okay,
Nobody, I don't know a mayor that's followed this section.
General Statute 7157 in subsection A says, ordinances may be enacted by the legislative body of any town, borough, city, etc. Any such ordinance so enacted, except when acted at a town or district meeting, shall become effective 30 days after publication thereof in some newspaper having a circulation in the municipality in which it was enacted, provided upon a petition of not less than 15% of the electors, such municipality as the case may be, within 30 days, asking the same be submitted to the voters, blah, blah, blah. So it doesn't say what type of a newspaper. It does under section B say you can publish a summary rather than the whole ordinance. So I think Taisha's suggestion that we just exempt out anything that these various statutes require, and recognize that we need to continue to publish the adoption of ordinances.
Well, I mean, what about something like notwithstanding any federal or state laws to the contrary, all notices required by this charter or by any ordinance shall be published on the agency's internet website. Good enough? Let the record show me sigh.
Only because that's limiting to only using the website.
Yeah, we want to
You
add.
want to use the website even if you're publishing it, I assume, as supplemental links, right?
Tom, are you
You're
suggesting
saying
that
rule.
Well, I'm saying, notwithstanding any higher requirement, you have to publish it on the agency's website. And in fact, there's somewhere in statute, and I know we looked into this, we were debating the whole thing with Francis, the state changed their rules too, and then require publication on the website. Even under the FOI statutes, it requires
FOI
publication
requires you-
on I think that's where I got that
Yeah,
language,
that's
agency's
what-
internet website, right?
But that's for notices of meetings and minutes, et cetera.
Change are on page 12, section 3, it says town of Bridgeport. Just a typo. Paragraph
Well, no,
describes
we used to be a town, I'll change it.
It said, yeah, actually, it says, it was by Steve Bright, who I mentioned. It says town throughout that entire paragraph.
Wait, which paragraph?
Well,
Page
even the
12.
title, it says town obligations imposed on the city.
No.
Does that say?
No, section 3.
Rights, liabilities, and property of the town of Bridgeport.
Did we deal with
This
this?
is
Because
property
this is-
that was transferred from the town to the city, because there was property previously in the name of the town, so it would have been the town of Bridgeport. And when the owner changed to the city of Bridgeport, that's what this is about. I don't think we want to change it.
Oh, actually,
Yeah.
I know in the current charter, Taisha, it says all the duties and responsibilities imposed upon the town of Bridgeport will also be imposed on the city, because we are one of the few that are still both a city and a town, otherwise we would never done the work. So there's some provision in our current charter.
Section 3, or Section 4, the next one after, the one that
Okay.
John just mentioned. Town obligations imposed on city.
Okay.
So would it be possible to get language on that, but also include like updated media, like
Which provision are you talking about?
I'm sorry, I'm
We're all over the
talking
place.
about section
still
7 on page,
Okay,
the top of page 13.
okay.
So
I mean, I like your language. I mean, if we add maybe newspaper in addition to, or in lieu of, where it's not required, I don't know, something to that effect. You wanna,
I just want to kill the reference to the newspaper, because I just don't think it's.
Well, you just want to.
No one, no one
Statute
looks,
right now.
no one looks to the newspaper anymore for publications. The website is really the place.
so read what your
There's too many
recommendation is.
people. Okay,
Not
Steve.
just keep it simple. Well, the city will notify the public from time to time to the areas. Should revision or change that we make or whatever.
I mean, it is, I mean,
But
I
that's all they
see it
do.
here in the
Just
state
do it.
statute that it's required,
Yeah,
so
just-
I would say keep it,
Keep
but
it,
and
yeah.
add the electronic piece. Can we table this and get language to look at another meeting?
Yeah.
Because it's 7 o'clock right now, thank you. Susan wants to table it,
Second.
Steve, thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, so we're tabling this for now to get language. All right, if you move down further, well, I think we're all done with that. We're not talking about chapter 2, so we are moving on to chapter 3, which is elections and appointments. Oh, it's so nice, looking like a new title. Let me just check my notes. Oh, okay. So if we go to section C,
Next to the last line,
is it still there? Where is it?
page, it would be page 1791. The last line, next to the last line where it says there shall be elected a city clerk who shall hold office for a term of 4 years. Is that necessary? Because we've already,
Well, we deleted it in,
it's still here.
Where?
oh, I'm sorry.
It's still
Yes,
here.
so in D, we deleted that language, that last line, but we kept it in C. Is there a reason?
We deleted it for the town clerk, we kept it, it was just city clerk, and it doesn't, it looks, it's just confusing.
Well,
The next to the last line
Where
where
it
it starts
says,
with
there shall be
elected.
an elected, there shall be elected a city clerk who shall hold office. It's in C, the last line,
So
the
that,
last two lines.
I believe that would need to be deleted.
Yeah.
And then,
Commissioners, you see it where that's,
17.
so we fine with that deletion? Okay. If we move to section 2, although I do like the fact that we're having a whole definitions chapter on its own, but on the July 30th document, the one definition that was there before the section 2 general provisions was bona fide elector, and I thought that maybe a definition could be there, but since it's all in one place.
Now, going back to this point, on chapter 2, if I may. All officers of the city, elected or appointed, blah, 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 shall be bona fide residents and electors of the city. Well, that's a problem, because that's not true.
Well, if you look, did you read the other part where it said,
Except when they're
Except-
serving on, or
As a virtue.
by virtue of their office and position. That solves part of the problem, but I don't know why we didn't.
Yeah, the problem is, you're talking about elected officials, you're talking about board and commission members, and officers is a term that applies arguably to certain high-level ranking officials, some of whom ought not to be, frankly, required to be in the city because it limits the talent pool. And there's always the disagreement over who is an officer and who isn't, you know, who's hiring. An officer is more than merely an employee. You have to have certain independent authority. You can argue, frankly, that nobody has independent authority under our charter because it says everybody's subject to the mayor's ultimate control and authority. But the concept had always been that certain positions are bound by that. So that opens up that can of worms.
Yeah, I mean,
We could try defining officer, but that's, general language doesn't help. You have to pick.
So what officers would fit under this category?
Before we get to the next point, this says all officers of the city, elected or appointed.
Some of
So
them are appointed by the mayor or by the council, health director.
what I think it would be easier to define it there than to try and define what is an officer, you know, and like, let's take it in a more simple approach. We're talking about anyone who has been elected or appointed, what? Appointed
well, you could say.
to a board and commission or something, because you do, if you're on a board and commission other than your, by virtue of your employment, you do have to be a resident. So let's speak
I'm
more,
appointed though.
I'm sorry?
I'm appointed.
You
So
know,
certain folks are appointed, and I think under this, there was always the perception that, or belief that the city attorney has to live in the city.
But I think what's interesting, if you just say, if this section solely pertains to officers of the city elected or appointed, and somehow just say,
You follow the category.
including elected board and commission members, period, then the rest of it is fine, because then you're leaving out the city attorney and other more administrative officers. You're only saying it's gonna be commissioners.
relative to,
Oh,
definitely.
Right, because then it takes that whole piece out.
and that is the solution we're seeking. I just wouldn't, I would have worded something like, you know, all elected officials and board and commission members. Just state it up front like that,
Yeah.
because once you start the sentence with all officers of the city,
Right.
elected and appointed, you just grabbed in a whole bunch of people that you didn't even intend to grab.
So
So
keep
you're
us the word
saying-
included.
And put to,
If you just went with all officers of the city, elected or appointed, board and commission members, under the provision of the part, leave out including, because including means you're excluding. So let's not muddy the waters and just leave it at board and commission, you know, anybody,
Right. So
anyone
give-
elected
Yep.
to a board or commission.
I don't think that solves your problem.
How about all elected or appointed board and commission members under the provisions of this charter shall be
Well,
notified residents?
I think you'd have to say all elected officers
Okay.
and
Because the city.
board of commission members. And recognizing that you're presumably following and in favor of opening up the talent pool to people, to appointed employment positions that do not reside in the city.
That's right.
It's hard enough, obviously,
I
to
agree.
attract people to Bridgeport
Okay.
employment, but listen, that's a policy call. I don't know how the administration feels about that, I assume.
Well, listen, I mean, let's just call it what it is. Which administration has ever purely followed it, depending on your definition of officer? And we've had more than our fair share of debates about what that word means, and we'll debate it to the end of time and still not know what it means.
And we've had plenty of people that arguably, somebody would say are an officer, but they don't reside in Bridgeport. On the other hand, you have others. So you'd have to, you know, look at Bridgeport is 16 square miles. And has, you know, there's an argument in favor of it. It helps the tax base, et cetera. but it also limits your ability to attract quality talent on that. You see with the police chief, the fire chief, comes up all the time.
Yeah, but, I mean, we don't need to be talking about that, because that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about elected officials and appointed commissioners.
Right,
boards
but
and commissioners.
remember, you are talking, I hear what you're saying, but the current charter does require officials, and officials goes beyond that. So you've got to recognize that what you're defining is deviating from the current charter, which is somewhat ambiguous.
Except that the chapter that we're in right now is about elections and appointments, boards and commissions.
Can we just resolve-
Yes, boards and
No,
commissions,
it's not
they're not the
really-
only appointments, and there's another section on boards and commissions. It's a completely different chapter.
Consistent with Sue's many points and Joe's,
No, I would change the title. Sorry.
the language I would propose would be all elected officials and board and commission members appointed under the provisions of this charter, except when they are serving on said board or commission by virtue of their office or position, shall be bona fide residents and registered voters of the city of Bridgeport.
That, I think, covers it perfectly. Now, if you put nothing else anywhere else in the charter, then there's no burden on certain officials to live in town. That years ago, back in the late 1980s, the city of Bridgeport started enforcing residency against police departments and fire departments. And they created a two-tiered system where you couldn't be promoted if you weren't a resident. That was struck down in court. And then the unions went up and had the state law changed. So now it says anyone who follows a bargaining unit or is a member of a bargaining unit cannot be required to be a resident of the town or have a radius of the town. So that exempted the vast, vast bulk. The difference here is some of your current officials are not members of bargaining units because they're in the unclassified service or they're unaffiliated, so they don't get that protection. What you'd be recognizing is by using Tom's language, you are indeed permitting all city employees, no matter what rank they are, to reside in town. So, Taisha, you can move on.
I know, so if they let me out.
So Tom, your language solves the issue, but it leaves the, it removes that requirement totally from the charter for any employee.
Is that what you want?
And I don't know if that's what the mayor or the council or anyone else wants.
I don't know.
But that's the
what you
consequence.
want, but That's the end result.
Well, it would be consistent with all the other employees, appointees, who are employees. They're not required to be a city resident, so I don't know why the city attorney would be any different from that perspective. I mean, I'd like them all to.
Because I think
the
you
city
approach things differently when you live here.
You know, the city.
It just is.
Well, and ultimately, that's the.
I mean, I'd like the freedom, I'm sorry, but I don't know that it's the right thing to do.
And if you go with that thought, you gotta think about it, but if you go with that thought, it would make sense to identify each and every individual in the charter that it's going to apply to, so there's no ambiguity. Because you go to Black's Law or any cases, the definition of an officer is in the eye of the beholder. So you would want to identify those positions that are mandated to live in town.
I think that the issue is, as a Bridgeport born and bred person, and, believes very strongly in hiring Bridgeport people to be in city government when feasible. I think the problem is every once in a while, someone comes along that's really talented that you want to hire in a position, but for the fact that they don't live here. And what happens is, city council and the city just choose to ignore it when it's convenient. It happens all the time, even for chiefs and for this and for that, because it's just not convenient. Because when they like the person, that is their superseding cause, right? Because even the city council, like everyone believes that we should have as many Bridgeport people working here as possible, but there are exceptions. And I think the problem is when the charter says you have to, And I think what's, there's a bunch of provisions in here that people just don't follow, and if we just keep all these provisions in here that we know historically never get followed, it cheapens this document, I think that's the issue, but it is a tough one.
I guess my thinking is, because it's not followed, does it mean it's not gonna be good for the city? Like, to me, that's more of an awareness that officials, elected or appointed, or board and commission members know about. To Taisha's point, I think it is optimal to have somebody that lives in Bridgeport and knows the ins and outs of Bridgeport. But then again, what you said, Tom, is valid as well. So, can we hear the language that you want to put in?
Sure. I also think, before I say the language again, that I think Sue's point is well taken, that to the extent it's in this section, we want to revisit it later with respect to certain positions of the city. We can do that elsewhere. But this section seems to be dealing with two issues: elected officials and board and commission appointments. Because of the way it's currently worded, we've now roped in all these other people, and now we're confused about who it does and does not apply to. But the Sue's point here, I think we can go with this, which is that all
Well, I
elected.
guess my question is, why is, like Susan was saying, including boards and commission members, I guess, right, but they're also appointed, so why are we repeating? Like, we're all appointed, we live in the city.
I
And
think
all
Because you-
officers
you
in the
wanna
city
be
elected
clear-
or appointed under the provisions of the charter, I don't know.
I think you want to be clear that board and commission members are included in the definition of official. Because, again, the definition is so broad and ambiguous under the law that unless you specifically reference board and commission members, you're adopting another ambiguity that you want to avoid. I think Tom's language, at least on first impression, is perfect, except it eliminates all employees. That's a separate question. It solves the issue for elected people and board and commission members.
That's the point we're trying to make.
Now, there have been separate considerations by this body and by the city council regarding the appointment of certain high-level officials of city government and how they get there, and perhaps that solves our problem. For example, taking the city attorney, there's now a requirement that the appointment go before the city council. And, perhaps some of that will help, because an overriding concern often is residency. That is a huge factor in who gets appointed to a lot of offices. And in fact, most high-level people in city government here are living in Bridgeport. But again, not all. And the question is, do you want to mandate all in all cases? And I'll just tell you, just historically, nobody's ever followed it. To the T.
Tom, can you read that again?
All elected officials and board and commission members appointed under the provisions of this charter, except those who serve on board or commission by virtue of their office or position, shall be bona fide residents and registered voters of the city of Bridgeport.
Commissioners, is that acceptable?
And you'll send that to me? Just going to page 10, where, under definitions, wait, is this 10? No. Yes, sorry. So here it has elected officials means intentionally omitted. Will we get a definition there?
I'm sorry. I'm looking for the charter that Sue wants and I can't find it. Ask the question again, I'm sorry.
So, under the definitions, it says that elected official, official is defined, but elected official is intentionally omitted. Will we have a definition there?
Yeah, that just means that it didn't appear anywhere else. Like a definition didn't appear anywhere else, so I asked him to remove that. But yes, we can.
Is that X on page 10 that you're referring to?
I was looking at, O, but then I'm looking down here at X where they do have an official or public official means.
So with regards to the definition, the instructions were, if you find the definition somewhere else in the charter, put it here. If it doesn't exist, put intentionally omit it so that I know you checked and there wasn't a definition, we need to create one.
Got
So
it.
that's.
Okay, thank you for reminding me of that. Okay, so going back to Tom's language,
Motion to approve?
thank you.
Second.
Chapter 3.
It's chapters.
Oh, here it is, okay. So, Susan and Joe, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so that, the language that Tom said he will email it to me, and I will share it on my little record-keeping document that I will share with all of you.
Thank you.
So what is going as, we got the language, but what is the section 1?
It's
2,
going to be in section 2.
2?
They're just gonna revise that language. That's right there under section, where it says section 2, officers to be residents and registered voters. Would that title change to, or would it still remain officers? Or would it be, yeah, I guess.
I'm sorry,
Never mind.
which section are you on?
We're on
Section 2, page 17 of 91.
Oh,
Section 2. It's that paragraph that be replaced.
perhaps elected officers?
And we're not staying, because.
Not saying boards and commissions, is that what you're saying? Because there's no distinction being made.
Or are we saying office, wait, what was it?
Maybe just residency requirements?
Okay.
Enter section 2, a title change.
Or is everyone all right with changing that to residency requirements versus what's there? Okay. All right, section 3. Oh. Is that
The only thing I will say, I hate to do this, but it does say resident and registered voter, so it bears saying.
Oh, right, yeah.
And voting. Okay.
Resident.
And voting.
And voting,
Oh, that's not really voting, it's like registration, it's voter registration. I'll come up with something. Let's move on.
Yeah.
It'll be redlined, if you don't like it,
Yeah, okay.
then we'll change it.
John has something that he wants to
Commissioners,
share?
regarding the constant, where commissioners and board members, it's not recognized that their term is up. We've discussed this in the past. What I'd like to put into the charter is in September, it's published and given to the mayor's office, given to the city, by the city clerk, to the legislative body, and to the ethics commission, that these terms are going to be up at the end of this year.
I thought we put that in.
No,
I thought that was in there.
Yeah.
We talked
We
about
talked
that.
we talked about it, we
It's
didn't
not
put it
in
in.
there.
We didn't put it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I looked all over for it, we don't have it there.
Which section, John?
Well, I'd like to see if we can put it in section 3, or chapter 3, under section 6, under section 6.
And what it exactly?
It would be, The city clerk, wait a second. Section 3, chapter 3, section 6 of the City of Bridgeport Charter. The city clerk shall submit to the mayor, city council president, and chair of the ethics commission, as well as the member, commission member or board member, and shall make available on the city website an annual report no later than September 30th, listing all commissioners with expiring terms at the end of the year. That just gives it a heads up to everybody that terms are expiring, so we don't end up with the same situation that the council is constantly complaining about also. I can reread that again.
Yeah, say that one more time.
All right.
And where, A, B, or C, I'm sorry.
Well, we have to make it probably, whatever, let's see, maybe C, the next one could be whatever. So it would be.
Well, the next one says notice of appointments,
Yeah,
so maybe after that.
yeah, in that section.
Oh, well, no, there's 6 is terms of office. Section 6 says terms of office, and then
Yeah, I think that's where it is.
Yeah, add to section 6.
So oh, sorry.
Or is there?
Chapter 3, section 6
Mhm.
of the City Bridgeport Charter. City clerk shall submit to the mayor, city council president, chair of ethics, and the commissioner, whose term shall be expiring, and shall make available on the city website an annual report no later than September 30th, listing all commissioners with expiring terms at the end of the year.
Can you send that in an
Yeah.
I'll just, yeah, I'll do that.
So commissioners, is that acceptable?
Right, and it is in section D. I mean,
That would be, yeah, chapter 3, section 6, and I guess if we could make it C.
Wait, what, I'm a little confused. Why is C crossed off?
It shouldn't be.
Oh, then we're gonna make it D.
D.
Yeah.
All right. Then that would be D. Okay, I guess I can make that as a motion.
I'm gonna, so you wanna move it?
All those in favor?
I'll second it.
Second.
And, wait, do I get a second?
Yeah.
Okay, so I second that.
All those in favor?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
We got that in good, so that's to help you guys out of the council more so than anything else.
Okay, so that one did pass. I'll get the language from you. Okay. I'm not gonna come up with this. If we can go back to section 3, absences or disability of mayor, vacancies in office of mayor, special edition. Okay, take page, section 3, but the language is on page 18A. And so, Tanisha, just to be reminded, this is new language from the council?
Yes,
Okay, so this is new language from the council.
and they got it from Stanford.
I'm sorry, which?
The one that you love, page 18 on top.
And don't forget to second that.
I did, I said.
Which is page 13 on the.
Hang on a moment.
You might want to share your concerns, John.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so can we take a minute to just look it over?
Yikes. I mean, 48 hours is crazy.
We can make it 72.
Well, and also is, does it make sense to have some, if they're unreachable for more than 48 hours? You know, like, in our world of technology, you can
That's exactly
FaceTime.
Yeah. That was his argument.
That seems very restrictive.
It is. It's a tough hurdle. Because then
Right, like
it would include like long weekends, right?
Yeah.
That was
Even short weekends.
I mean, quite frankly, I don't see what's wrong in the version that we adopted. I don't think any of this is necessary. This is language in search of a problem. It honestly creates more problems.
They're gonna go back to it. Well,
I mean, you know,
can they change it back?
in the event that the mayor is temporarily absent or disabled and is unable to perform his duties of office, at any time, for any reason, basically, the mayor cannot perform his duties, the president takes over. And then, of course, when there's a vacancy in the office, the president of the city council becomes the mayor, and depending on what time that happens, there's either a special election or not. That covers it. We don't need, to your point about technology and just the modern day, in my 10 years here, this has never been an issue, and never will be an issue.
Well, their concern,
What if
the
they-
council's concern was notification of when the mayor's out of town. That was really the goal, right? To know when the mayor is away. That's what.
But wouldn't that be?
Where is the-
I'm sorry.
I just have to find out. So in this version seems very similar to the one here. What one are you talking about?
I'm looking at what we adopted, section 3. It just says, in the
The
event
original.
that the mayor is, in our version that we sent to council, in the event that the mayor is temporarily absent or temporarily disabled, and is, because of such absence or disability, unable to perform the duties of his office, the president of the city council shall possess all the powers and perform all the duties of the mayor until the mayor is available to act. Subsection B, in the event that a vacancy occurs for any reason in the office of mayor, the president of the city council shall act as mayor until the office of mayor is filled as provided in subsection C of the section, and then subsection G talks about whether it's a special election or not. I mean, that seems pretty clear to me.
But it doesn't cover the mayor to go out of town to their mayor's conference and so forth. It doesn't cover none of that.
No, he's still mayor. I couldn't imagine, when we have documents that need to be signed, grants and contracts and things like that, he has to sign them. We're not gonna give it to Heidi to sign, that's not how it works. I mean, with all due respect, should the mayor give her a heads up easily? Yeah, that's, I mean,
That's
right,
not a
that's
charter.
the charter, that's, I mean, what are we doing? Now we're gonna start divvying up pay depending on, he goes for a long weekend, I just like.
I get something to say.
Why don't we just put a tracker on?
Total recall, we can do that one.
I motion that we
Just leave it up.
reject the council's changes here and keep what we have. I think what we have is plenty sufficient.
So basically, keep the stricken language, is what you're saying.
See,
Yeah.
oh, yes, exactly.
Keep the stricken language and,
Keep the stricken language in A, reject their change, and otherwise leave the provisions as they are in B and C, because those are important.
so reject the new A.
Yeah.
Anyone want to?
I make a motion that we reject the.
I'll second that motion.
And that we
And reinstate.
reinstate what exists in the charter now.
No, reinstate our suggestion.
Well, okay, I missed that.
This is-
I would just say, I would just reject the city council's changes in that particular section.
Yeah.
Just as a housekeeping matter, bear in mind, because the council did not open this new phase of the charter revision, probably the sooner you get them in, the better. And when they do come in, you need to afford them the opportunity to speak to all of their changes, including the ones you've now moved ahead of them on.
Okay.
You can't limit them to,
Does it have?
doesn't mean you have to change your mind, by the way.
Well, I mean,
you
they
stick-
can present and then we'll share what we,
Right, you can certainly, you can stick by your position.
Is it far-fetched to have just like a one page, we point out what we strictly out so they can have that in advance? So whatever we take out, this is presented to them on a one page, and say, these are the.
Well,
I
actually,
would
I can
invite them in
share
the
my
next
notes.
night. Why don't you have them coming in at the next meeting?
Because the schedule for
We can ask that for the next meeting.
yeah, they have to come to the next meeting.
Council, the ordinance chairman.
actually,
Well, the ordinance,
I do have a housekeeping question. It's probably mostly directed at Aisha. So, at the end of this thing, we need one red line. I know we have two different red lines, our red line and then their red line of our red line. So, but we need one red line on what we ultimately decided and then a clean version, because that's what's gonna go to the council and they're gonna vote yea or nay on each thing. Are you able to do that? You're gonna be able to keep this straight without losing your mind?
we'll be.
You wanna, so you wanna be able to, yes.
Like, in other words, what we need, like, today, we have already accepted some of the council's red lines to our red line. So now we have a new document, the third document 3, or version 3 of this is the original charter, plus some of our changes, plus the council's changes. But then in some cases, like this one, we just rejected their change. So we've got like this whole new version of red line going on. But the red line has to show what we initially changed to relative to the original document. So at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
So the way you do that is you take the original charter and you compare it, actually you would take what we finally land with at the end of this process.
The document.
And then you do a comparison to the original charter and Word will redline it for you and show the differences between the two documents. Yeah. So there's a way to keep it in order.
Couldn't do that in 1980.
Or 1990.
That makes total sense, okay.
Oh, God, that's funny.
Okay. So we had a motion on the table to reject this, and somebody you second.
Susan.
So, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so that is rejected. And then if we move on, you can see that there are just some capitalizations for the page, for page 18. Sorry, I have to go through two things. Oh, another thing in that section, actually, if we go to page 18, salaries at the bottom. I have a note, I think this was something that John mentioned, prohibition of receiving outside income. I could, that's in, so, never mind for that. Okay, so if we go over to terms of office, section 6, we're still there. And if you go to section C,
Just before that,
what's the month?
before that. Yeah, right before that, I have a question in regards to the sheriffs and
We're
their.
not there yet.
We're above it.
Hey, can we finish this first before the sheriff?
I'm talking about here. Okay, good.
Is that for the vacant? No.
Well, we should say that.
So,
The vacancy of appointed officials, we have it at 2 months in the chart, and here, I think we needed to change it to 3 months. That would be
page 4, oh no, sorry, it's page,
Page 19, yeah, I'm
it's
just looking
page
at the
18,
other.
page 19.
On 76.
Section 6C.
C, and it, you'll see where it says 2 months and then 2 months.
Yeah, I think we discussed it in the past to change that to 3 months to give them more time to be able to do what they need to do.
So if this is, never mind. So yes, do we want to make a motion to move it back to 3 months?
I'm not sure.
Did we have 3 months there before?
Yeah.
It wasn't there. This is, C is a new section. You all added that. And it's 2 months. But you can add it to make it 3 if you'd like.
Two.
Well, in addition to that, we have another problem. So it says, except as otherwise provided in this chapter by state law, whenever a vacancy occurs for an appointed official for any reason. Wow, that touches a lot of people. Like, that would
Wait,
be,
where are you?
like, if the city attorney slot was vacant, city council to appoint, like, you know what I mean? It covers too much. This is the same problem as before, so we need to change it to board or commission, which is the intent here. It's not meant to cover any appointed official. It's meant to cover board and commission appointments.
Yeah.
So the language here, you're saying needs to change?
Yeah, so we need to say something like, except as otherwise provided in this chapter by state law, whenever a vacancy occurs
On a board of commission.
with respect to any board or commission for any reason, it should be filled by their 2 months and 3 months.
Yeah.
3 months, I think is more appropriate.
What, the mechanism is, the council is always looking for people to fill spots, is my understanding. The, someone in the mayor's office is also keeping track of what's ongoing. It isn't just a duty once a year at the moment. And if they're doing that, why isn't 60 days long enough? Why isn't 2 months rather than 3 months? Because if you have a board or commission that has a vacancy, and maybe 2, then they're kind of out of business.
Well, I guess it depends on what you're measuring, because let's suppose that commissioner gets hit by a bus today. And then that position's vacant, as you know, John, really well, you know how long it takes sometimes to recruit somebody and then go through the process of nomination. So at what point are we measuring? Are we measuring up to the point of nomination? Are we measuring up to the point where they've actually been voted on by the city council? And some of these appointments take 2 months just to go through the council process. So I guess that's a clarifying question I have, is what did we mean by this?
Why can't we envision a time when the council and my friend in the mayor's office keeps his eyes out for people who are looking to join boards and commissions, but those jobs aren't there, or we don't have a way of putting them through primary grades and secondary grades. Everybody wants to be a PhD and serve on 1 or 2 boards. That's it. They don't want to, that calls into question whether they're looking for power and influence or just to be good citizens sitting on boards and commissions. And my own notion is we ought to be recruiting in the end. I don't remember us having, or I wasn't present for the discussion. I don't remember us dealing with the unaffiliated voters. And while we thought we had 20,000 of those, but the number is still 75% of that, 15,000, 16,000 people. And it's a sparse number on boards and commissions. Why aren't we looking for people there? Why aren't we looking to train people?
I mean, I don't disagree with anything you said, you're looking at me. I just, again, practically speaking, if it doesn't happen, or if there is a vacancy today, I am not sure what this language as currently written means.
think the purpose of the language is to make sure that someone is appointed, somebody doesn't sit there forever, and then if the mayor doesn't appoint, then it goes to the legislative body to be able to do that. I don't think they have that authority right now.
I guess my point is this. If there's a vacancy now, I'm not trying to create an issue. I don't think this is really going to be a problem. I'm just trying to be very blunt about how this is written in 2 months. 2 months is such a little time in the world of board and commission appointments, again, as you know. And I know, of course, we should aspire
We got
to
20
be
years
ready
of
to
fair
go, right?
housing.
As soon as somebody is,
We are a city with a Fair Housing Commission that hasn't found the right assembly of citizens for 20 years. After 17 years, the city council took action. They came up with an ordinance that created a council, created a fair housing and fair rent, it's my understanding, but only the rent group got populated and got office. So staff, fair housing still is in the wind. 20 years. We're arguing about 30 days, 60 or 90 days. I'll go with 90 days. Why don't you get some action in the city office to begin a selection recruiting process and promoting the responsibility, the duty, the obligation that citizens have to participate in democratic government.
and I do think this language is a huge change in the world. You know what I mean? And I understand, I respect what you're saying about 2 months versus 3 months. This is gonna put a lot of pressure that doesn't currently exist, because right now, there's no pressure at all.
I can
right?
live with
So-
I can live with either 60 days or 90 days.
And I would just say maybe.
20 years is intolerable.
Within 2 years. So perhaps,
It's in section 6 now. Okay.
so I was,
So I'm actually, as this conversation went on, so we've got term, I'm almost thinking now, I know we voted on it, but maybe that notification goes after term. And then if we are notifying that there are expirations or vacancies, I mean, we're looking at potentially 6 months of not filling that position versus 4 months. When you already have information of who's the terms that are expired.
I'm sorry, I'm not following you. What-
So we're talking about moving from 2 months to 3 months for vacancies, right? Then we also added a D for notifications of expired terms or vacancies. So if John has that language that, how often, when is that notification, how often is that notification going out, John?
It goes every year, it's in September, to show when the terms are up at the end of that year. So it's every year in September, on a constant basis.
So I guess, I guess I've lost the rationale for moving it from 3 months, from 2 months to 3 months. If we're now gonna have a notification of all of these unfilled positions or expiring terms.
no, but I think the issue here is, this is anticipating that a vacancy happens in the middle of
it?
someone's terms.
Okay.
So like, John is on the Parks Commission, something happens to John, and there's, nothing's gonna happen to John, that's why I use you as an example. And then, now we need to deal with that vacancy, and the question is, what should happen? And right now, the mayor has the authority to appoint for the remainder of the term, and this commission's desire is to put some heat on him, to make sure that he does it. And so.
2 months then, not 3.
But to even find the replacement, even to put the next John into the council and get it through, 2 months is nothing, right?
Right.
If someone replaces him in 2 months, that's a miracle.
Tom is right.
So,
because it
I'm just
takes-
saying, like, you know,
It takes time, it
and-
takes a lot of time.
And I think like even this second part of this too, that talks about the council, we're not, you know, the way it's worded is says, if the mayor doesn't do it, then the city council shall do it within this time. Well, they're not gonna do it either with respect to a lot of things. I think this language should parrot what's in the Board of Ed chapter. What it says there, it says the mayor has 30 days, or sorry, but it's a flip-flop. The Board of Ed has 30 days to replace one of their members. And if they don't, then the mayor can step in. It doesn't take away the Board of Education's ability to appoint somebody. But if they wait too long, and the mayor wants to step in to fill the vacancy, now he can. And I think that this
So you
should
want-
look like that. So in other words, it says, the mayor,
How is this different? That's what this is.
well, it says no. It says the city council shall nominate and fill the position within 2 months. That, to me, one, strips the mayor of appointment authority, which makes no sense. And two, it says they shall do it within, they have to do it within 2 months. Well, what happens if they don't? They turn into pumpkins?
For the Board of Ed, after 30 days, the board can still fill their position, even though the mayor now has it.
Yeah, so it's concurrent authority. So at that point, it still puts the heat on, right? Because it's like, and the board knows this, and as a result of that provision,
Then we can just change.
they work quickly, because they want to
So
preserve
that's
the
the
right.
issue, so where are we gonna go with this?
I think you just change shall to may. It's permissive, not required.
Also, to the extent that the mayor's nominations may require city council approval, in that last sentence, should it say, if the mayor fails to make a nomination within this period? Because he can't make an appointment without the council. That should read nomination.
Okay.
Right. And you actually raised this in the first go-around of this language. What can happen here is you can have the council purposely hold up a mayoral nomination just so we can let the 2 or 3 months, whatever we decide, that window expire. And then now they get to jump in. Well, you don't want that. That doesn't make any sense. So, but depending on how you word it, that would be possible. It's a veto by sitting on it.
So the bottom line is we just want to get to a point where there is going to be replacements found instead of something just sitting there forever. That's the bottom line.
Yes, so I would propose something like, tell me if I'm crazy, except as otherwise provided by this, instead of saying chapter, I would say charter, because now we have a separate chapter on ethics, which goes more specifically into how that works. So, except as otherwise provided by this charter by state law, I'm gonna add this, I haven't written it yet, but the mayor shall nominate a candidate to fill the vacancy on any board or commission for the remainder of the term. If the mayor has not made a nomination within 3 months of the existence of the vacancy, the council may nominate such, board or commission member to fill the remainder of the term, something like that. Now, at that point, they have concurrent authority after that 3 months expires, and to Mark's point, it's about the point at which, that there is a nomination. So as long as within that window, the mayor's made a nomination, if the council acts on that person in a day, great. If the council sits on it and they putz around for a couple months, that's on them. The mayor's done his job within his time.
I should know this, but I don't. Is there another section that talks about filling when a term has expired and the mayor's not nominating and they're in the holdover position? Because that's not addressed here.
No.
This says for the remainder of the unexpired terms. Where are we addressing the issue of holdovers, expired terms? I thought we had picked that up somewhere.
We discussed it.
Where is it? Because that's a bigger
Right,
one.
we did something like that in the ethics commission. We did it in ethics.
Is it in the ethics?
Yeah.
I'm not sure why it's in the ethics, it's not really.
That's
what it
because
is.
the bottom line by the ethics commission will have the authority to appoint
Okay, you gave it to the ethics committee?
after it hasn't been done by.
No, that's for the ethics commission.
That's
Oh, okay.
solely for the ethics.
What about other boards and commissions? You know, people talk about people serving as holdovers for 20 years.
Well, that's why we have that notification
So John's answer to that was to put in a notification provision
Every
that
September.
kind of keeps people posted on what's coming up.
Whatever, okay. That works, it works.
Whatever.
Hey, listen, I'm not
Okay.
the one complaining about it.
So section C, section 6, subsection C, you are writing up language based on this discussion?
Yes, you
Um,
can repeat it in a couple
Okay,
minutes. if you
and then
wanna
send
move
it,
on.
okay, so we'll move on, we're gonna move on from that for now. Sure.
I just been demoted.
You've been demoted?
Was he talking about sheriffs?
Next in this section, John wanted to talk about sheriffs. So that's
you know, I
section
can't-
8.
I can't find the damn thing already.
It's section 8.
It was about this, discussion of the, where the sheriffs have to, do the bonds, all right? And where is it gonna be ensured that they are doing what they're supposed to do? I didn't see that. Would it be through the city clerk's office? Because it's an unenforced law, remember, in regards to, so who would make sure that that is being done? That's my only question.
I thought we had discussed that they operate in the city. You know, that was their required, so like a business to provide a bond.
Right, but.
That is in there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
we didn't put that.
That's in there, but
But you said-
we don't have a place where they need to, where they, there is verified. Whether it be the city clerk's office, that they have to follow up to make sure
We do
that they're doing it. That's, yeah, exactly. I believe, should it be town clerk, city clerk, or? But it's something, I think our discussion, our discussion was it wasn't being enforced, and we want to make sure it's being enforced.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I don't know who would enforce it. I think you just have to.
Who do they
what's the
serve at the
commission
pleasure
members?
of?
I would think, to be honest with you,
Mark?
it's something that goes through the council by, well, no, it's elected. Town clerk, I guess, workstation is as good as any place. I don't think you want to start bringing in the finance stuff.
No, so if we can just put in the charter that the town
Can we
clerk.
put a pin in this? We'll come back to it. Can we, because this has come up in other instances about collecting bonds and whose obligation that is. So I need to think about this for a minute, but so we can move.
So we're gonna table that.
Yeah, let's table this one.
All right, without a vote.
I vote.
Well, it's not really, we need language. All right, so,
Yeah, I just wanted to ask.
So you're gonna vote to table section.
yeah, we might as well put it official. Okay, so let's go to table section 8.
So moved.
Second,
Okay.
all in favor?
Thank you.
Opposed?
I think it's 10-2, I guess, but I gotta look.
Okay. Okay, so section, I don't even know what section this is anymore.
There?
No,
No, just prior to.
it's section 10? Yes. Section 10. Oh, wait, maybe it's fixed, hold on. Oh, yeah, so if you look at A, it says city council is, what's it supposed to really say?
That's just capitalized.
No, it says it twice though.
Oh, it's.
It says city
taking-
council, and they're both capitalized.
Space.
And then there's no space after is. So, should it be one city council or is it two city councils?
It's better.
Darn.
Maybe to-
What section?
Okay, section 10, the second line down on page 19, there are, it says city council.
City council.
Oh, yeah, they'll just take one out.
I think
That
actually
was
both.
I think they both need to come out.
Yeah,
Neither one of them.
Yeah, none of it.
you're talking about the members
Yep.
of a board or commission
That's
of the
a
city.
replace all situation, that's a remnant of that.
So of the city is habitually absent.
Yes, so the
Right.
is should be there.
Okay.
Is habitually absent without valid excuse, only one comma, or guilty of malfeasance.
Look, we did some grammar.
Wait, there's two malfeasances. Or guilty of malfeasance.
Malfeasance or wait, what is this?
It's two
Misfeasance
different
and
words.
malfeasance.
Oh, missing out.
I never heard
There's
of
gonna be
it.
a quiz in the end.
Add the
I know,
definition,
that one.
add that to the, add that to the definitions, what's misfeasance?
Yeah, okay, remove that. On page 20, section B, the official charge shall give, the last line, where it says, a transcript of any hearing shall be prepared and filed with the city clerk's office. I would just like to add to that, in the municipal office of ethics.
The Office of Municipal Government.
Yeah, the office of ethics. And also there's a,
Give this, the section again one more time, John?
that's page 20,
Section
section
B.
B.
Okay.
And just to add to that, the office, in the office of municipal ethics.
Okay, I'm a little bit confused because above it, so in 10 it says A, and you see what A is. Then it says B, and then it says B.
The B above
The B's
the
strict.
B needs to go away.
Okay.
There's a lot of replace alls in here that kind of got a little funky.
And on the same, and on that line where it says witnesses and to produce witnesses in his own defense. There you go. We found the his.
And there.
Yes.
Right.
See it?
Mm-hmm.
Where?
Right here.
Oh, okay. So that's that. Oh, and then if we go down on the same page to D, so it says, if you go into, where the,
They specify.
right, okay, so this, it's not, it's the 1, 2, after the second mayor that's in red, it says they, she, he, she, they. Should it be specified?
Yeah, I changed that, yes. Yeah, that was one of the subject verb agreements.
So we need a motion.
Yeah, he should be stricken.
Can we just go back up to D? Chapter 17 is now chapter 18,
Oh,
before the mayor section. So D should be 18.
do we need to move in?
Do we need to make a
Well,
motion to add
we
the,
do, we do have to make a motion to add the Office of Municipal Ethics.
So I make a motion to add on subsection B. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, added.
I think we're done.
Well, we do have, so here's so the last chapter we were gonna look at for today is chapter 4. It is the chapter of the mayor. It's 8:07, oh my God, I'm sorry. I totally lost track of time, I'm so sorry. Right. Considering that we are going to be speaking with the mayor at some point, we're gonna just table this for now. Chapter 4. Is it chapter 4?
Yes.
Chapter 3, no, chapter 4. Sorry, I'm wrong.
Do you need a motion for that?
Yes.
Motion to
Let's
table.
second. Table by Joe and by Tim. Oh, you wanted to, everybody wants to second that. And it's 8:07, I apologize to keep you you all here. Thank you for your time tonight. We will be meeting on Wednesday. We will be meeting here on Wednesday, okay, 6 o'clock. And we will
We also have
talk
to-
to the mayor so we can continue to the mayor's chapter, and then 5, 6, 8. Okay.
We also have
What?
draft council president.
Oh, and we will be inviting the council president too. Do we want to do this Wednesday
On
too?
Wednesday or Thursday? We do both on the same
I would
day?
say
Let's
that's
do
a lot.
Thursday first.
I will see when they are available to come. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Can I just,
Oh, wait a minute.
I heard you say you're inviting the council president. Are you copying all the council members and allowing the rest of them to come as well?
Sure.
It's not limited to just the council president.
Of course.
Okay, all right.
I'll invite them all.
They're all invited, if you really want to hear from.
Well, you know,
I want to hear
Wednesday,
from one.
Wednesday is the appropriate day anyway, because that's the city council day, so.
So why don't we invite them all?
Probably more than that.
More the better.
You know I love to hear people talk.
And I sent the language for that.
Thank you. Who motioned to?
Joe.
Joe
And then everybody.
and everybody seconded that. Thank you, everyone. I apologize for the lateness.
Yeah, you're right.